that bring us here today. We welcome you here to the committee.
Thank you. First, I would like to express my gratitude for this opportunity to serve as a witness to shed light on the issues surrounding the Jena 6 controversy. I am here to share my expressions of the tensions that existed in our tiny community leading up to the unfortunate incidences which resulted in 6 black students being arrested for quote-unquote schoolyard fight. In Jena, everyone knows everyone. Unfortunately, there is a great deal of racial indifference that seems to have festered for many years. This indifference has caused a good many of our citizens, both black and white, to have harsh and mixed emotions toward each other. The hangings did not help things at all. But Jena has a strong sense to get past this episode in our history. However, I believe as a minister and a citizen that will alone will not suffice. The injustice dealt by Judge J.P. Marfray and District Reed Walters over the past year must be atoned. Justice must be done for our community to heal. Even our school board has a double standard for blacks, and this whirlwind of events merely touched the surface. I know the facts of Jena have been retold 1,000 times over, and there are those who question whether or not these things actually happened. I'm here to tell you they did. But there are people in this room who probably don't know that before sitting under the whites-only tree, one of the black students actually went to the principal and asked if he could sit under the tree. He was told that he could. We all know that soon after, the nooses were hung from the tree as a sign of threats and hate. More than that, many white students began screaming "nigger" across the schoolyard whenever black students would pass. These students felt verbally abused but did not know that they could do anything about it. Most of you know that District Reed Walters said, "With a stroke of the pen, I can erase your lives." But what you don't know is how helpless the families of these children felt at that, or how hurt they were that someone would use his job to take away a child's life when all he was trying to do was get an education. Throughout Jena's history, there has always been 2 systems of justice, one for blacks and one for whites. The stories have been passed down in my family of individuals like Bobby Ray Smith, who was killed and thrown into an oil pit by a group of white men. But there were no investigations, no matter how loudly the blacks in the community protested, and even Billy Hunter, who was stomped to death by a white man and who received only 2 years in prison. Can you imagine the outrage, the hurt, the shame our families felt when we think about these 6 boys and the incidents that took place on last year in Jena, at Jena High School? These stories always will remain in the back of our minds. Lastly, and most recently, the incident where 2 white males ran over the church sign shortly after an NAACP meeting at the Antioch Baptist Church, where I pastor, which was ruled out by many not a hate crime. We know that justice can be done, but the question is, why hasn't it been done? I'm grateful for the opportunity to tell my brief story, which actually is a much larger and longer story. But I'm hoping you will get the point today, that Jena can be a great town, but right now it is a town where 2 systems of justice exist, and that is simply un-American. And we believe it is no longer acceptable. Thank you for your time.